How you doing? I'm Larry Galloway, the owner of Let's Talk with Larry. Today we'll be talking with some veterans of the Desert Storm War. As y'all know, first of all, we have to give praise and honor to God for sending His beloved Son, Jesus Christ, to save our souls and give us a chance at hope. We're going to have a cup of coffee with one of these veterans. My siblings, we had 5 siblings in Desert Storm at the same time. And today we're going to be interviewing or talking with the little outlaw, Bryan Galloway. And he's going to tell you a little bit about himself. And we're going to talk about how do you feel to be in a war zone knowing that your mother and father and all your other loved ones is back here and what's on your mind. Let's talk with Larry. How you doing, Bryan?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Top Cat.
It's a pleasure to have you here. It's wonderful to know that I have heroes in my family that I was over there in the war with. You know, when our Uncle Van was in World War II and he came back from World War II, he couldn't even get the same benefits that the white folks got to buy houses and go to school and stuff like that. But we came in this era, and our family continued the legacy of serving in the military and serving our country. So first of all, I want to thank you and your brothers and my brothers and sisters for serving our country.
Definitely.
Bryan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, of course, you know I'm from Winningville, North Carolina. I'm Miller, one of the Miller kids, 1 year younger than my twin brothers, not even a whole year. But I lived in Louisville, Kentucky. Now I got 3 kids. College grad from HBCU, pledged at Livingstone. See, I know y'all see my frat hat.
Can you throw them up for us one time?
So when I first went in the military, because I was leaving college early, one of my other brothers, Gary T, he told me, might as well come on in. I thought I had some child support issues, so I needed to, just being honest, needed to get away and get this child support paid. So I went on in, but I never knew what the journey would be. I didn't think I would be in, probably not in the Cav unit. First of all, never thought that we would ever be going to war, so I didn't worry about that.
So Bryan, could you tell us what you meant by a Cav unit for those civilian warriors that don't know too much about the military?
Well, I was in 2nd ACR, Bamberg, Germany. We did border patrol. That's when they had the wall up. So we did border patrol. We had to walk the DMZ up and down in the middle of the cold. Sometimes it would snow up to your waist. Sometimes you couldn't even feel your fingers or your part of your feet. So I was in one of those old prestige 2-2 Cav units that we led the way. Actually, we led 1st Army Division in the battle.
So what was your MOS?
I was a 19 kilo. For people that don't know, a 19 kilo is a tanker. So I was on a tanker. I started. I was a loader. I was a gunner. When I went to the desert though. I was a driver. And one of my best friends that passed away, Sergeant Dave Cooley. He was the gunner we was on a lieutenant vehicle, but he was the gunner. So he ran the show.
All right, Bryan. So what we want to talk about today with Larry is you had 4 other brothers and a sister that was in Desert Storm with you. And I wanted to know the effects that you think it had on your family at first that was left back here in the United States of America. And how was they feeling whenever they was watching the news and stuff? And then I want to know your perspective as you being over there in the sand.
Right. So when I first, I didn't know all of us was going to be there at first. They was telling us that Lisa. I remember they said Lisa and Hay, and I think first thought was who gonna take care of Gabrielle. Then I was like, well, that's Lisa's daughter. I said, Mama, I know Mama gonna be there, and I'm sure Mama was gonna probably be a little worried because all 5 was. But I can remember Mama telling me, Mama told me to just trust in God no matter what. When I talked to her before I was leaving, she said, well, a lot of y'all gonna be there, but just trust in God and He'll bring you back home. So
yeah, I remember my mama used to always tell us in the battle we go into. Sorry to cut you off. She always told us in the battle that we go in, always start on your knees first.
Yeah,
talking to the Master, and He'll guide you through. So could you tell me some of the effects that you think that it had on you when you found out that you was going to war?
When we first got deployed, and they told the cavalry on it that I was getting ready to go to Fort Polk, Louisiana, and they changed my orders, and they told me, they said, you ain't going to Fort Polk, we get ready to go to the desert. And I was like, man, we ain't about to fight. I said, we can go, I figured we'd go to the desert, we'll wait for a while. I said, we'll get this, and truthfully, my thought was that we'd get this extra pay, we'd get this hazardous pay, and we're gonna come back home. So, we sat for a long time, and we was just, I noticed that where we was, more and more vehicles was coming, And then I was thinking, well, you know what? We've been here for a while. Hell, I'm ready to go home. Yeah. And then as the time started passing, you get a little, your anxiety starts to go. And I'm thinking, man, are we really going to war?
Yeah, we was going to war.
And we was there. And I was like, man, we can't be getting ready to fight, We ain't had no war like this. What we doing?
Fight for another country.
Fight for war. Yeah. And then it started getting serious. And, they started telling us, we're going to have to tighten down the perimeter and, do different things. And guard duty was getting a little more tighter. You wouldn't know radios playing late at night. And, they was talking about people can pick up signals. And we had to have it all jet black. And I said, oh,
shoot. Cigarettes, no smoking.
Yeah, hide a cigarette, no smoking.
Drinking, no acting crazy.
And I said, it's about to seem like it's getting a little serious now.
And it did.
And it got serious.
Yeah. So, when me and my sister Felicia, when we was in a unit and they had us in the formation, they told us, but our first day when it was January 15th, and they told us this is just like being in the park in Greenfield Park in Wilmington, North Carolina. Sergeant Major standing in front of us alive.
Right.
So on January the 16th, me and about 100 of us standing outside, and we looking up in the sky and we see falling stars. Well, it turns out not to be falling stars. Turns out to be a Patriot missile and a Scud missile, but it blew up over the top of us. And I was like, oh hell. This ain't no walk in the park.
This ain't no walk in the park. They ain't playing no more.
So the first time that you heard that something going off, how do you feel when you first heard? Or do you feel comfortable talking about this?
Yeah, I do. When thanks to my counselor and all the good stuff that they did at the VA, man, when you started seeing the sky light up red, because it's true. You could look, and as far as you could see, would just be red. So. I turned to Dave. Dave was my dog. I said, Dave, that looks like some stuff on fire. Dave said, well, we're going to go through hell or we coming home.
Yeah.
And I was like, this really fire out there. And as far as you could see, you could just see stuff popping. It was like fireworks going off, but it was vehicles blowing up.
Yeah.
And I thought, whoa, this is real.
So that was the real slogan on, if you're going to go through hell, don't stop in the middle.
Don't stop in the middle. Come on home.
Go through.
Yes.
Because the first thing that, when I remember scuds and stuff going off, my first thing was always, let me go check on my sister Felicia, because we was in the same unit. Long I could see her face. And I knew she worked in the office, so I knew that, hey, Felicia had to make some contact with my mama. Because it wasn't about me being afraid of the scuds and the missiles and stuff, because I felt like I was invincible back then anyway.
Right.
And I was always raising king, because my sister used to always try to keep me out of trouble and tell me to settle down, but I couldn't do it, because I was out of control. But thank God for Jesus, because everybody needed it. But then, and I say, well, if she can just let my mama hear our voice to let us know that, hey, we good.
Yeah.
Because she had 5 of us over there spread out. So my first concern was like, how's my mama feeling? What's my mama thinking? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how would you reflect on that?
It's so crazy that you say that, because I was and you know how you used to do the PX run. And man, I was getting ready. We was doing a PX run. And I wasn't really down, but I was like, I want to know how everybody else was doing.
Right. So
here we are, we about to do a PX1, and I get in line, and the guy said, hey, Sarge, no, Sarge, you already been through. Sarge, man, I already marked Sergeant Galloway off. I said, hey, yo, I said, I don't know what you talking about, bro. I'm about to get me some of these, I'm going to get me some of these cigarettes, because I was smoking back then, and I'm going to get me some of these noodles and whatever. I said, but I'm going through the line. He's like, Sarge, I know I just marked you off, man. I just talked to Galloway. You can't come through again. I'm like, hey, he tripping. So he said, let me look at the list. And he looked up and he said, let me go down the list. He said, this is Sergeant Gary Galloway that just came through. And man, I don't know, I just felt a relief, like, whoa.
He's all right.
Yeah. Because he came through right before I came through. And we barely missed each other. Seeing each other at the PX run.
Yeah, it was always wonderful when I was over there, and when they came through, somebody was like saying that same thing. And then he was on a bus, and he said, man, somebody out there look just like you. Somebody was telling him that. And he looked out there and said, there go my twin brother. So he came running off and embraced me, and somebody snapped that picture.
Yeah.
And we still have that picture at home. Felicia have it somewhere, and I'm quite sure when we get her on here, she's going to display some other stuff. Before we go any further, I would like for y'all to go to the bottom of the page and subscribe. Let's talk with Larry. Let's talk about it, because we're going to be talking about more than just military stuff, but family and stuff. We're going to be talking about a whole lot during these conversations. So go to there, hit subscribe, and you'll get a link every time that we have to talk. So Bryan, when you started talking about thinking about your mom and your family back here, because it was always how's my family doing, never about Larry, never about how am I doing, because I was invincible in my mind.
Right.
I was a straight hellion. Yeah. So I was like, well, how's Lisa doing? How's Dre doing? How's Peanut doing? How's T doing? But most important of all, how's Mama doing back home? And she's saying all this news, because you know the news now, they was everywhere in the war zone, putting down what we was doing, putting down what was going on. So it was like, what was she thinking?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how were you reflecting back on Terry and Jerry, Gabrielle, Ken, everybody that's back home? How were you reflecting on them?
You know, I really thought, I said, man, they probably worried because they saw so much on the news where even like now it's got so much stuff. But back then, you know, the people was on the ground, they was running through, and they a lot of times they would come and they would take pictures and talk to you. And I ended up getting they did an interview with me in this Army Stars and Stripes, and I was telling them I had uncles and aunts and brothers and sisters there, and you know, and it was kind of good because I know that somebody will see it, and I know their mama will end up knowing that we're all okay. So it was a little, you know, you always thinking about home anyway, because so many of us from Winnebago, North Carolina, so many of us from that dirt road is down in that desert, and so you know, you thinking you just want to let everybody know at home that we're doing good and we're gonna come through, because we weren't gonna quit anyway. Wasn't no quit in it. I mean, you know, we prepared. We was prepared long before then, because Mama, Mud, and everybody else had prayed us through way before then.
So speaking of prayer, Bryan, Outlaw Galloway, we almost coming to an end. But before we come to this end, I want you to explain to us how Christianity or religion or whatever spirituality that you had brought you through this situation and continue to carry you today.
Well, you know, I was I remember one time when we was out, and Dave, my boy, was saying, man, why you always, he said, every morning you get up, you be reading your little Bible. And back then I had that little old green Bible that they gave us. You know, everybody got one. Military, get them little green Bibles. And I'd get up in the morning, because I remember Mama used to tell us I always get up and just read something. And man, I was packing sandbags under my driver's seat, and I was putting my flight vest, because I was making sure, you know, because the first guy we lost, he ran over IUD, and he had just had a little one, blew his legs off, and he ended up not making it. I think that was the first Cav victim that we had. So I was just prepared. I was just putting everything under my feet, everything I can see. I was putting everything I can put under there, and I was making sure my feet could go down, maybe lock just a little bit. And I thought about it one day. I said, you know, I think it's just I need to just continue to pray, and not these flight vests, these sandbags, they might not stop from coming through.
Right.
So, you know, I think I went out and took a couple of them out and got a little more comfortable in my seat, made sure I could hook up my mask to the vent and everything, and I just continued to pray. And I said, you know, I think we'll be all right. You know, my only mission was to come home. Because I wanted to see the people at home.
Yeah, I wanted to see them too. I remember when we came back home, all of us got together, and it was a party, but we won't talk about how we partied, because you know when them Galloways party,
we partied. Yes, sir.
Don't stop. So as I get ready to close, first of all, I want to thank Bryan for being with us, and I want to have him to have in the last shout outs. And remember, he spoke on preparing his gear and stuff. And I want y'all to think about this out there in the world as we walk through this world today. We got one gear that we need to prepare, and that's the armor of God. We need to have every piece of the armor of God. Every morning when we wake up, we need to tighten that thing up. We need to get up, because the walls of the devil, the walls of the enemy is going to be coming against us, and we need to be prepared at all times. And like he said, like Lisa said, like my twin brother always said, my mama said, Start everything on your knees. Every battle you go in on your knees. I'm gonna leave these last comments with Bryan, and I'm gonna step out the picture. Go ahead, Bryan. You can give a last shout out.
I'm just shouting out, saying, I'm still glad to be in the land of the living. Every day won't be good, every day won't be bad, but you know what? As long as you're here, like I tell my little kids that I teach to, as long as you're here, you got another day to start over. I gave my kids the pencils and told them the reason why you get pencils and erasers is an old lady told me, because if you mess up on a pencil, you can erase it and write it over. And that's what I like for you to remember. You can always do your right and get right with the man. That man ain't but one. That's the good Jesus Christ. Love y'all. Peace. Root.
Thank you for Let's Talk with Larry Galloway.